Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody is well. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Let me say shout out to everybody, man. Antonio She in the building. What's going on? Cadillac 634 in the dough. Ralph Chestnut, thank you for your support yesterday, Ralph. Kenny Moore in the building. What's going on, man? Ray Patterson, Kentrell LeGroux, Andy Gill, Mr. Mileage, Ashy Black Negro in the building. Isaiah, what's going on, man? Funny that you come in here ashy black. Because for the first time in a while, I got my live stream yesterday demonetized. Because I used the N-word and I went full Street Martin in the live stream yesterday. So please forgive me for being a little bit too, a little bit too wild yesterday. Ski mask slides. What's up, man? Top of the morning. Curly J in the building. What's up, Curly J? How you feeling, man? Shout out to DC, man. Shout out to DC. So yeah, man, I'm hearing that the Gervonta Davis fight and Lamont Roach is a go. That's what I'm understanding. That's what I'm hearing, and that they're going to be that the rematch is going to be announced. That's what I heard. Now I could be wrong, but I think that that's good news, man. Chi-Town, yes sir, yes sir. Big Shy, nigga. You know what it is. Yeah, Curly J, I showed my ignorant side yesterday, man. I tried to listen to Bill Haney's interview and I failed. I made it like one sentence. No joke, bro. I made it like through one sentence, man, listening to that dude. And I just snapped off, man. So please forgive me yesterday, man. I didn't even do videos yesterday. I was like, man, let me take this day off before I lose my dome piece over this silliness, man. But also, man, Shakur Stevenson, I told you I was right. Told you I was right, man. Told you I was right. They got that fight done. So Shakur Stevenson is going to be fighting William Zepeda. And I say, hey, Dave said, I have said worse than you and didn't get demonetized on my lives. Now, you know what it is? I was doing that and I had this in my hand too because I was blowing this. That's why I got demonetized. I think because of this is what got me stuck, bro. He said, what's up, Fanon? No worries. Thanks, man. You know I be snapping off, dog. You know I be snapping off. But I ain't lying, man, about what I was saying. I mean what I was saying. Like my attitude may have been one thing, but actually what I said, I meant 100%, man. Because I really, man, there's just a lot of stuff going on around in boxing. He said, listening to Bill destroys the brain cells for real. Yeah, I can make it a sentence. I can only make a sentence through that, man. You know what I mean? However, I will say, man, that suing somebody is not business. That's not a mandatory portion of business. Suing somebody is what you're trying to avoid in business. You know what I mean? Bankruptcy is part of business too. That doesn't mean that you want to go bankrupt. That you want your company to go bankrupt, because filing bankruptcy is part of business. So, you know what I mean? Suing people, I mean, it's not a good look, bro, in business. Because I thought I would address that before, as we wait for people to come in. Suing people is a bad look. It's a bad look. It's a bad look on both parties. Getting sued is a worse one. Bro, I had a problem at work and came home right. I literally didn't do anything at all, just chilled. The girl, instead of getting mad at what happened to me at work, she's mad and got an attitude with what? With me. Because you came home? She said, what'd she say? You supposed to be out there at work or something? Hey, man, your job is to work, man. You better do your work, man. That's what she's saying, Jay Blick. She's saying, take your ass to work, man. What you doing around here? You know what I mean? She's trying to make you your better you, man. Trust me, my wife is a slave driver. What's up, Stephen Williams? Do you think that Devin wins this fight? Yeah, I do. I believe Devin wins this fight against Jose Ramirez. I think that he's going to come in and really do some work and look terrific against Jose Ramirez. Honestly, that's what I think. I really just think that Ryan Garcia is a terrible matchup for him, and that fight is going to be very, very difficult for Devin to win any way it goes. Trey Skills, man, thank you for putting some color in the chat, man. Really, really appreciate it. Salute Fanon, just showing support, man. Salute to you, brother. That $2 holla in the building means a lot, man. Thank you. It means a lot more than you think it does, man. It really does, man. It encourages other people to support the channel when you put a little color in the channel. So let me not discriminate against the Blues today. Go ahead and thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Dapper Douglas, what's good, bro? Ryan looked damn good at his workouts. Yeah, man. I just think that Ryan Garcia is always going to be a difficult matchup for. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I got to grab a pen. Okay, Bird 101. I'll check the Cash App right now. Thanks, bro. Oh, bro, thank you so much, man. Myron in the building, man. Thank you so much, bro. And Bird 101 with the $5 holler, brother. Thank you so much, man. I can't show it because I can't get it on my phone. But thanks, Myron, bro. Thank you for the sir. Greatly appreciate it, man. I got you, Bird 101. Thank you so much. Give me 1 second. I got to grab this pen. All right. All right. So this is my thing about Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. I think that Devin Haney is a better fighter than Jose Ramirez. All the joking that I do aside, and we talk about him getting beat by or getting knocked up and getting beat up and knocked around by Ryan Garcia. I just think that Ryan Garcia is just a bad matchup for him. Number one, Ryan Garcia, similar to Lamont Roach, has been in the ring a bunch of times with Devin Haney, and he knows Devin Haney's tendencies. And since he knows his tendency and he knew what he could be successful with against Devin, then I think Ryan was in a really, really good position to capitalize on that and obviously, do a lot of work in that fight. Now, some people are going to say, well, that doesn't matter because the Ostarine, man, no, Now, I'm not buying that. I'm buying that left hook keeps landing over and over and over on him. But I also believe that Ryan Garcia is a very gifted athlete and an exceptional athlete. And not everybody can do what Ryan Garcia can do. So just because Devin Haney is susceptible to a left hook from Ryan Garcia doesn't mean that he's going to be as susceptible to a left hook from Jose Ramirez, whose left hook is not as fast, nor is it as powerful as Ryan Garcia's. So I just don't believe that the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight really, as far as the skill sets, really reflects on what would happen with Jose Ramirez. So I think that Devin Haney is just going to outbox Jose Ramirez. I think he's also going to engage, with Jose Ramirez at times, and I think he's going to come out of the fight looking very, very, very solid. That's my prediction for the fight, and I think Devin Haney wins a unanimous decision, somewhere around 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3, something like that, over Jose Ramirez. And as Kokwi says, yeah, absolutely. It's probably going to be, a boring unanimous decision. However, that's probably what Devin Haney needs right now is a boring unanimous decision. Just go in there, get the fight, beat him. You're on the winning track again. You're working with, I think he's working with, other trainers now. So I think that he's going to be in a good position, man, and I predict him to win the fight, and I predict that he wins the fight, in pretty convincing fashion, man. Dapper Douglas says, good point, Fanon. Devin underestimated how fast Ryan is in that ring. Yeah, Ryan Garcia is an exceptional talent, man. He really is. He's not a run-of-the-mill fighter. And, maybe because they overestimated themselves and the improvements that they believe they had made since the last time they saw him, they felt that they thought that they had him. Yeah, exactly. What happens, though, if Devin really looks good? I like this. I like that point, man. if Devin looks good, right? If Devin looks good, boxing will get really, really fun. You know what I mean? You'll get all your arguers back. You'll get all your haters back. I get all my haters back. You know, they'll be bumping and, you know, going off in the comment sections again. So absolutely, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that he wins. And I hope he wins. I hope that he wins, and I hope that he wins in convincing fashion. For real, for real, for real. I do. That's what I got in that fight. All things said, peace and blessings, Mr. Martin, and chat, smash the like button. Yeah, please do, please do. Yeah, what is it? My guy Kenchella Grew. The Haney fans who disappeared last year are slowly coming back after that cigar interview Bill did. They're slowly coming back. Yeah, well, because they're slowly coming back because the fight's coming up in a week. So yeah, absolutely, these guys are coming back because the fight is in a week. Or in what is it, in 2 weeks or something like that? It is on that Cinco de Mayo weekend, right? Oh, Barbara D. Good morning, Barbara D. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What happens if Devin draws with Jose Ramirez? If Devin draws with Jose Ramirez, man, they need to run a rematch, man. I don't know, man. Look, dude, all of the Bill Haney stuff and all that stuff aside, man, I want as a many American champions. I want to see as many American champions as we can possibly see. That's me. So for Devin to get back and win a championship, Ryan to win a championship, Tio to win a championship, I think those are all really good things for the sport of boxing. And I'm trying to be positive today because I was so negative yesterday. If you can't tell, I was so negative yesterday, man, because I just think there's so many games being played around the sport of boxing, man, that it just gets on my nerves, man, to the nth degree, bro. Gets on my nerves to the nth degree. But I'm happy, absolutely happy about this run of fights that we have coming up. Because Gervonta Davis is supposed to be going in June. You've got Shakur Stevenson going in July. The fact that you have Gervonta going in June and Shakur going in July means that those guys are basically on the same track as far as their schedules, which makes it easier for those guys to have fights. So I am absolutely hoping that Shakur and Zepeda puts Gervonta Davis in a better position for a Shakur Gervonta fight. That's what I'm hoping will come out of that card. Because I don't really think that, like, necessarily that as long as Turkey Al-Sheikh and them, tuck their ego and all that nonsense, those guys were spewing all over the place. Legacy remains. What's good, man? Ryan really thinks he can beat Boots. Good for him. I saw that, man. Hold on one second. What's up, Akil and Netter? How you feeling, man? What's good with your brother? What's happening? Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. Brandon Brooks, what's going on, man? Thank you, sir. First, Tio, now Shakur. They apologize after smack about Turkey. Immediately does that same sus. Brandon Brooks, I have a different opinion. I have a little bit different opinion, man, on you than that one. I think that Shakur Stevenson did, which made a pretty smart move. Because if Turkey Al-Sheikh was trying to pay him less money, then to say something in public, I think, is a smart move, especially as it wound up with him getting a deal that he's obviously happy with. So I don't know, man. I don't really know, Brandon Brooks. I'm sure he is, man. Bill is very careful with his words when mentioning Boots because it's not safe for Devin Haney to fight him. That's what that is. KQ says, I'm sorry, QQ says, what it do, Richelle? Man, let me give you a wrench, Richelle. Richelle, I got to wrench you up. Hold on one second, man. Hold on, Richelle. What it do, Richie L? Let me put that moderator on you, man. Welcome to the moderator crew. Is there somebody else? Oh, the pull-out bandit. The pull-out bandit gets a wrench. Yeah, pull-out bandit. You should have been had one, man. My bad. There you go. Pull-out bandit for sure. Thank you, brother. You're a loyal dude, man. You're loyal to the channel, man. Thank you so much for continuing to chop it up with me, man. Let me get Von Wise too. I'm gonna get Von Wise because Von Wise is here often, and I see Von Wise chopping it up with people. So there you go. Hey, what's going on, man? Mark Booker said the legendary Fanon. Salute, brother. Salute, Shy, brother. Salute to you, man. Shout out to the Shy, man. Shout out to the Shy. Yeah, let me rinse y'all up real quick, man. Get people that are here during the slow times, man. This is when I'm handing out wrenches, bro. I'm handing out wrenches and support for the people that come by the channel when everything's kind of slow. But back to this, man. Back to this. I think Shakur probably made a smart move by putting it out there. But you got to do that kind of stuff selectively, you know? If you're constantly doing that to promoters and constantly complaining and all that stuff, you know, then nah. And yeah, there also may have been a better way for him to get that done if he hadn't done it. All right, Troy Hutch, I'll rinse you up tomorrow. I see you, man. I see you, Troy. All right. Let me take a chance on Troy. All right, man. All right, Troy, you're rinsed up. There you go. Yeah, you're rinsed up. I'll get CoQ tomorrow, man, for sure. Because I'm gonna be here tomorrow. Hey, okay, so anyway, if Ryan Garcia is saying he thinks he can beat Boots, I love it. I love it. They should make that fight, man. They should make that fight. I want to see Jerron Ennis get all those guys. I know I'm being a bit of a bully by saying, you know, hey man, Vel Wigner, it's the first time I've ever seen you, bro. So keep coming back, back. No, I think I've seen you before. My bad. Keep coming back, man. I think I'm rinsed out for today, man. But cats that I know, and I talk to on a regular basis, then yeah. You know what I mean? Because your personality comes out over time in the things that you say. Or Gary Antoine. Oh, man. I keep forgetting about Gary Antoine Russell. Martin tanked down Miami training with Kevin Cunningham. Calvin and Kenny will be there too. All right, bro. Thank you. Shout out to Kevin Cunningham, man. I follow Kevin Cunningham on Cunningham on Twitter, man. He always puts out good stuff. The pullout bandit says Gary Antoine Russell has beaten Boots 3 times. Yeah, I would love seeing it, man. I would love to see that, man. And I agree, Fahim Sator. Fahim says a focused Ryan is a hard fight, is a hard night for anyone. Yeah. Ryan, I think, is a special talent. I think Ryan Garcia is a special talent. And it's just whether or not he's going to stay focused or not. But I mean, he's got a chin. He may not have the best ribs in the world, but he got a chin. Quincy Carter. Well, I ain't seen Quincy Carter in a minute, man. That's because I put him out the chat one time, and I kind of regret it. I kind of regret putting Quincy out, man. Ralph Chestnut says, I agree, Fanon. I think Shakur did the right thing to man, as with the decision to move on with Zepeda. Absolutely. Yeah, but now Turkey Al-Sheikh and him have made up because Turkey Al-Sheikh wants in on that fight. So smart move by Turkey Al-Sheikh. What up? Smoosh LY F3 said, what up, Fanon? I think Eddie got in Shakur's ear telling him he needs to apologize because if he goes to first bid, you're going to get less than turkey offers. I mean, that could have happened, but I doubt it. That could have happened, but I doubt it because William Zepeda would get less money too. Yes, man. Mag 7. Yes. My understanding is that the fight with Lamont Roach is a go. And then I just got an update that he's in, and I just this second got an update that he is in that he's currently in Florida training with Kevin Cunningham, and that Calvin Ford and Kenny Smith are going to be headed down there to join the camp there. So it's good news for Gervonta Davis fans. It's really good news because they're putting in a lot of work. You know what I mean? Putting in a lot of work, working with people to get ideas about how they can, adjust and adapt to Lamont Roach for the next fight. And Kevin Cunningham is an excellent trainer with a terrific track record. He has a terrific track record. He was a trainer. Kevin Cunningham was a trainer for one of my favorite fighters out of St. Louis when he was in St. Louis is Corey Spinks, the son of Leon Spinks, Corey Spinks. Keith Pierre said, and Shakur do not want the tank fight. I think he wants the tank fight. I don't have any doubt that Shakur wants the tank fight. I just think that what Shakur's trying to do is Shakur is trying to secure that money for that baby girl he got with her. And I don't hate on that. You know what I mean? He's got a daughter, so he's got to get the money he can get. And I don't have any problem with that. I do want to see him fight Gervonta Davis, though, but Gervonta has to get past Lamont Roach in this rematch. And, hey, man, Lamont Roach is a very, very solid fighter. He keeps his punches in the box. He is, his punches are all straight punches. So, and he's there to counter you. He's got very solid defense, hard defense to break. Yeah, especially since Lamont Roach has a reach advantage on him. So, it makes a big difference. So Gervonta has to find a way to overcome that. Trey Skills said, I don't think it's good for Shakur fighting Zepeda while still having hand issues. Well, in the hand issues, I don't think William Zepeda can do really much of anything with Gervonta, honestly. You know what I mean? I know Keith Pierre said, and Roach did not win that fight. I don't think Lamont Roach won the fight either. So Lamont Roach has got to find something else too. If Lamont Roach is content, then and his performance is the exact same, he'll probably lose if he does the exact same thing. I think in order for Lamont Roach to win the fight, Lamont Roach has got to go at Gervonta Davis earlier. You know what I mean? He's got to press on, and I think you'll see that. I think you'll see Lamont Roach try to press Gervonta Davis more in the next fight because he's probably assuming that Gervonta Davis assumes that he's going to get the same fight out of Lamont. LeVar Aiken said, all these fighters talking about wanting boots but won't go to 147 until he leaves that division is cap. We'll see. I believe Ryan Garcia, LeVar. I believe Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia says he wants to do something. Oh, no joke. Yeah, I believe Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia says he wants to do something. If he says he wants to fight Terrence Crawford, I believe him. Because I think he got a school. I think he got a oh, shout out to Tank for doing the right thing. Let's not miss that part. Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to Tank for doing the right thing, despite my desire to have him fight 5 bums in a row. Ain't that right? Ain't that right for him? I was out there protecting Tank. I'll admit that on that particular situation, I wasn't too happy with all this yap. Because I'd like for people, I personally think that people should be appreciative of people that give them opportunities and chances, to perform. Not saying that if Lamont Roach thinks he wins the fight, that Lamont, that Lamont, it doesn't have the right to say that he thinks he won the fight. But, I'm a Tank fan, so I was hating a little bit for him. Yeah, so I say I appreciate you around, Fahim, because you'll check me. You will definitely check me on my shadiness, man. Oh, the commercials are killing you? Oh, my bad, man. Sorry, bro, about the commercials, man. There shouldn't be too many. Fanon, who's worse? Who's looking worse out here? Brian Norman Sr. or Floyd Schofield Sr.? Who's looking worse? Who's looking worse? Terrell W said, nah, get your money for nine. Thank you, bro, for real. Because seriously, if I put ads on these trolls don't stay around here. The trolls don't stay around. And on top of it, I actually get money for the live stream because usually I don't get any money for the live stream. You know what I mean? And it's 100% super chats, and cash apps, but it still is majority that. But thank you guys so much for having some patience with the ads. I probably will bring them down a little bit next one, just so all the freeloaders and stuff don't have a problem. Good morning, Fanon. Hey, Deborah Booker. Good morning, Fanon, and everybody in the chat. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Likewise. I hope y'all have a wonderful one or having a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay, I'll probably fix it. If you guys are you guys having a lot of problems with the ads? They're like popping up if you go out and come back in, it's going to hit you with an ad. If you stay there, it's not going to hit you with an ad. But if you jump in and jump out, you're probably going to have an ad both times. Fanon, did you catch the Mill City interview with Truck? Truck says that Roach has always been a tough fight for Tank. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that Truck says that Roach has always been a tough fight for Tank. See, then people should give Gervonta Davis credit. Let me put this up here. Then people should give Gervonta Davis. Hey, Fahim said, fuck that, get your bread. Thank you, Fahim. Appreciate you, man. No, I didn't see the Mill City with Truck. I didn't. I got to check out Mill City more often. Do you get paid more if you watch the entire ad? I mean, I don't know, but don't worry about it, man. If you just watch it and then skip the ad, that's fine. I'm not really tripping too much like that, but at the same time, I do appreciate your patience. I really do. It's a change that YouTube made, and it's a way for me to get rid of these trolls on real. I don't want to talk to these trolls. Hey, so did you see Oscar said Boots duck Virgil? No. How could do Boots duck Virgil? I'd be very, very. He said I have ad issues too. Sorry, Barbara. I'll knock it down. I don't want you guys to get hit too bad. If y'all start complaining about it, I'll turn it down next live stream. Oscar be high as hell. Look, man, I need to understand. I really do need to understand how in the world. Hey, what's up, Carol Moden? Shout out to Hawaii. Oscar do be high as hell though, but I fuck with Oscar De La Hoya, dude. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm an Oscar De La Hoya fan now because Clapback Thursdays showed me a whole different side of Oscar. I rock with Oscar De La Hoya now because Oscar De La Hoya is absolutely hilarious. This is the Haney era. Yeah, it is the Haney era. All right. It's the Haney era. It's the Bud era. JB20 says, what's up, brother, from the Philippines? Shout out to the Philippines, bro. Mag 7 Life says, Fanon, did you see they took Tank off the pound for pound for one bad night and he wowed the fight crazy work. Yeah. And he won. Well, he didn't win the fight, but okay, Andy Gill, let me look. Ooh, doody. I have a huge crush on Rashida Jones. FY. Okay, cool. He didn't give it. Okay, cool. I got you, bro. Thank you, man. Hey, I'm sorry. Crawford didn't look like Crawford against Madmarov. Madmarov hit him with the right overhand anytime he wanted to. Terrence Crawford is not a perfect fighter, but Terrence Crawford won that fight, man. Oh, I'll talk about this. Fanon, this is off subject. But do you think Floyd Schofield has priced his son Floyd Jr. out too much, asking for 2.5 million to fight Abdullah Mason kid? I know this off subject. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because Floyd Schofield Sr. is not dumb. Floyd Schofield Sr. is not going to put his son in anything too early. He's not going to put him in anything too early. He's going to get his checks. He's going to put his son in good fights that his son can win up until he's got a chance to win a championship shot. I don't even think that it's very real for Floyd Schofield to fight Abdullah Mason right now. I think it's too early for that. You know, that's what I think. Bud isn't perfect, but consistent. I still want to see the Spence rematch, though. Errol can't go out like that. Yeah, Dapper Douglas, I agree. This is a tough position, but I'm kind of with you on that. If he's healthy. If he's not healthy, he's got to check out. You know what I mean? If he's not healthy, he you know what I mean? He don't want to go out like George Foreman, bro. Getting his ass whooped by Ali and never getting a chance to get it back. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be like George Foreman fans out there. Ricky French in the building. What up, man? What up, Mr. French? He said next fight for Devin better be a good show. Otherwise, Haney's gonna start to decline. Mark my words. Yeah, I agree with that because his confidence will be shot. LeVar said, Martin, he needs to stop talking big shit. Then if he's not going to let his son fight good fighters. Yeah, it's a catch-22. I'm kind of persuaded by KO boxing. I can't lie. I think I'm persuaded by the argument that my guy yesterday, man, please forgive me, man. I can see your face. I can't remember your handle. I see your face. I can't remember your handle. But he was on there yesterday, man. And he said, "Oh, I agree, Isaiah YWD. Yeah, absolutely. Give him like 3 bums. You know what I'm talking about? Give him 3 bums. But at the same time, man, if I think Errol should fight Terrence Crawford if he can get a fair fight. And I mean a fair fight is if he feels good, if he's healthy. Not saying Terrence Crawford didn't give him a fair fight. I'm saying that as long as it's a fair fight, as long as Errol feels like he's in very good shape, that he's sharp and he's ready to go, absolutely. You know what I mean? Man, you know what? Patrice Eaton. Please, I would appreciate I don't like when people try to mind read. Not saying that you can't mind read, but I don't think you can mind read somebody you've never met. So Errol is done. His career is a wrap. He's never been 100 after that accident. He's still a legend, but his ego was hit hard by that loss. I don't know if his ego was hit hard by that loss or not. You got to see that in the comeback. Hey, what's up, Phoenix? He said Abdullah and Kip Mason both got 18 fights, not too early. I'm going to ignore that, bro. Because if they're both early in their careers and they both got 18 fights, then I can understand why his father would want that a little down the road. I could understand that. But again, that's why I say that I'm getting a little bit more convinced by what KO Boxing said, because KO's position that, look, man, if you're going to not do it, my bad. Come on, let me go back. He said, I love me some Rashida Jones. Dime piece, son. Yeah, man, I got a thing for Rashida Jones, bro. Like, everybody in my family knows it, too. Because every Rashida Jones comedy series, every Rashida Jones sitcom, I'm watching every episode of every single one. Every single solitary time, bro. Is weird. But at the same time, man, you know, hey, man, she does it for me. What can I say? I like the freckles. Sorry about that, Kamal. Hey, Fanon, a fair fight would be Mimo Heredia in Arrow's corner. Well, I'll take that too. I'll take it too. You know what I mean? I'll take that too. No joke, bro. I roll with Rashida Jones. Like, yeah, big time. Rashida and Khadija Jones. I would when I was young, if I wasn't already married, married, I would have dated both her and her sister. like, hey, man, how can I need to be a billionaire, man, so I can date her and her sister. Yes, I know I might not have, man. I'll go back, brother. Thank you for telling me. Oh, yes, sir. Phoenix, I did miss that. Phoenix said, sent you a breakdown. Virgil's last fights were 2 at 54, 2 at 160. Boots already said he's going for undisputed at 147. How's that a duck? It's not a duck. Virgil Ortiz left the weight class because he couldn't make the weight class. Virgil Ortiz left the weight class. He left the weight class. So I have no idea how in the world you would call that a duck. Me. Ralph Chestnut says, just my thoughts. Devin looks pretty good in some of his training regimes, and I am not in any way hating on Devin. But I think Ramirez is going to have some problems. Just my thoughts, Fanon. I mean, I think so too, man. I mean, I think that again, Ralph, I think that Devin Haney is a top-notch fighter. I really do. You know, the things around Devin Haney is something different. All the talk about he's going to get his man strength, so he's going to eventually turn into a knockout puncher. No, he's 27 years old, man. He's not going to magically get power in his third weight class, really, because he's fighting at 147. He's not even fighting at 140. He's fighting at 147. LeVar Akins in the building said, Martin, I'm still down in San Antonio, Texas on vacation. Thanks for the tip on the Alamo. I went yesterday. Does anybody know a great barbecue place in San Antonio before I go back to cold-ass Philly? Let me look it up. Man, I'm so neutral on barbecue, I couldn't tell you. Because I'm not a big barbecue. I don't really like barbecue like that. To tell you the honest truth, I don't really like barbecue. The only thing I would really eat in barbecue is barbecue chicken. I don't really like ribs that much. They're okay. I don't really like it that much. And I really don't like brisket that much. My mother made a killer brisket one time I really liked, but after that, I was kind of done on brisket. But my wife loves brisket. So there's always, barbecue in the house because she's from Kansas City, so she likes brisket and all that other stuff that they serve up in Kansas City. I personally am an Alabama. I like barbecue. The best barbecue I've had is in Alabama and in Memphis. I doubt you finding good barbecue in San Antonio. 2 Cents said, I doubt you find good barbecue in San Antonio. Yeah, I'm sure they got something in there, man. Some best place they can really do it there. Andy Gill said, Ramirez is definitely going to test Devin in this fight and will show you if Devin and Bill worked on blocking hooks. In Texas, I like hard 8. I don't know if they got one in San Antonio. Okay, cool. Yeah, Ramirez is going to test him, man. Ramirez is definitely going to test him. And Ramirez is a big boy, man. Ramirez is not a little dude. Ramirez, I do believe, started at 140, and he's a former unified champion at 140. So he's had the championship fights as well. at the same time, he did get dropped. I think he got dropped twice at 140 by Josh Taylor. And Josh Taylor, I know the whole, what do you call it? I lost my train of thought. Haney is going to get his chin rocked. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got Haney in this one. Jose Ramirez and Arnold Barboza is interesting as well, though. No joke. All right, so we're at 40 minutes. I'll put a link on if y'all want to chop it up. Let me put this. All right, that message should be pinned to the top, so you guys should be able to get it. Muratalla, Raymond Murat. Oh, come on, my guy. Come on. I didn't see you, brother. What's up, Kamal?
Hey, what's up, Fanon?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm excellent. Every day is a great day that you're doing a live stream in the morning, Fanon. Getting my day started off right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
Thank you. So I agree with you, Fanon, on this Ramirez versus Haney fight. Ramirez, who I thought was overrated because he was associated with corporate media's top rank, and he got just a lot of praise from ESPN. He ducked Regis Prograis when Regis was really in his prime, and he hasn't looked good in about 2 years. Barbosa just boxed his ears off. I think this is going to be an easy fight for Haney. I don't see him being challenged. I think the biggest challenge, though people may disagree with me, Rolly has power. Ryan definitely has deficiencies defensively. And I think if Rolly can connect on Ryan cleanly, I mean, Ryan could be in trouble. But I will say this. I think Barbosa boxes T.O.'s ears off, but he probably won't get the decision. We've seen T.O. lose more than his official record, kind of like Canelo, but he has a way with the judges. I really think that the Barbosa Teofimo Lopez fight will be the most competitive. What say you?
Yeah, I can agree with that. But yeah, I think it could go either way between those two fights. I think the only blowout is Ryan and Rolly. That's the only one where I'm like, yeah, I think he's really going to get him out of there. I haven't seen it. I've seen Barboza fight maybe 3 times. I know he's a tough fighter. I think with T.O., he just kind of fights to the level of his competition. So I think it matters. It's funny. And on top of it, I think T.O.'s got really good foot, or at least he's athletic and he's mobile. So I think that may cause Barboza some problems. I just think it kind of depends on what T.O. shows up, what T.O. shows up. But T.O. can get upset for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying about fighting to your level of competition. I think he struggles with boxers, especially. That's why I know that Sandor Martin got robbed against him, and many people. I didn't see the Jermaine Ortiz fight, but people thought that could have gone either way. And I just think
it could have.
Yeah, and I think Barbosa's really peaking. I mean, going on the road to beat Jack Catterall, who like him or hate him, Jack Catterall is a very good boxer.
Yeah, he is.
Getting that win. I mean, Jack Catterall, if we're going to be honest, he should have been undisputed because he definitely got robbed in that first Taylor fight. And you're right about Ramirez. He did get knocked down twice by Josh Taylor. He just hasn't looked good in 2 years. He hasn't. I mean, and I always thought, again, he was overrated. So I think Haney's going to cruise to kind of a boring unanimous decision against Ramirez. I just don't see that fight as being competitive. With Zepeda, Shakur, I'm glad that fight got signed, Fanon, because the worst of all scenarios would have been going to open purse bid, and the bidding wouldn't have been to Shakur's liking. So I'm glad they got that finished. I don't see any way Zepeda beat Shakur Stevenson, honestly. Again, I think he's been a bit overhyped, and I think Tevin Farmer, a lot of people feel like he won both fights against Zepeda. So I like Shakur in that one by unanimous decision. With that, I'm out. Thank you for the time.
All right, brother. Get back, man. What's up, 2 Cent?
What's going on, Fanon? What up, chat? How y'all doing this Good Friday? I just want to come up here and get my 2 cents about a few things. I don't really have too much. I had wanted to ask you a question, Fanon. I can't remember what it was now. But I'm glad the Zepeda Shakur Stevenson fight got made. Do you feel like that Shakur Stevenson needed this fight? Like this was a pivotal fight that he needed at this moment in his career? Because I heard a lot of people saying Shakur Stevenson needs this fight and blah, blah, blah. And it just made me ask the question. Shakur Stevenson's a multi-division champion. He's been unified. He's done all of these things. He's one of the he's Mayweather-esque, according to some people. So how is
Right.
he in a position to where he needs this fight with William Zepeda? Or is I feel like his career has already taken a turn in a negative direction. How is he in a position to where he needs a fight or things are going to get worse for him? I'm just
I
curious
can
how he
answer
got in that
that.
position.
Go ahead, Phoenix.
Yeah, no, being real, like the problem is exactly what you said, Toussaint. Look at his accomplishments, and then look what's happening right now in this weight class of 135. You've seen what he did at 126, seen what he did at 130, and now he's been at 135. This is what his fourth fight because he's had Yoshino, he had De Los Santos, uh, and then is it Padley then?
There
And
was
that's his
somebody too.
Haratunian. So this
All
is
right.
his fifth fight. And Zepeda is by far probably the best opponent he's had at 135 since he moved up. You could probably say Edwards is the second best. And then, of course, you got Haratunian, Yoshino, and Hadley. And the problem with Shakur and Devin and a few others around that weight class is instead of building themselves up using their own name, they've been building themselves up in their comparison to Tank Davis. And because Shakur has been doing a lot of talking, like, I'm going to put belt to ass. You're going to see the new Shakur. You're going to see Killer Kerr. And then seeing how he's been performing, and then so many people saying he's boring, he's boring, he's boring. That's why Shakur needs this fight and needs to look spectacular in it. Because if he doesn't, even though we just saw Tank have that close fight with Roach, the big comparison is how does Tank and Shakur match up if they fight? Because at that weight class on paper, that's the biggest fight to make. And if Shakur doesn't have the appeal for that, then they're just going to go ahead and brush him off to the side because eventually people are going to be like, oh, well, he's not really that good. He was just, trying to ride on Tank's coattails, kept calling him out, fight never happened, and now look. So that's why Shakur needs that because he didn't build himself up using his own name. And it's a far different situation compared to Mayweather and Pacquiao. Because, like you said, some people feel Shakur is Mayweather-esque. Well, I mean, I don't. You know, that's just the thing they do with black fighters who are athletic and got a defensive style. To say it's like Mayweather, he's not. Mayweather, he built himself up on his own accomplishments. You didn't see him trying to tear other people down, saying other people is ducking him. You saw him do things the right way as Pretty Boy Floyd when he was coming up. And then his Money Mayweather took that to the next level and amplified it. Shakur hasn't been able to get to a point in his career where he had that moment like Floyd had with Oscar De La Hoya. And this could be it for him, especially if he looks good. Like I originally thought that for Shakur it was Oscar Valdez that would be that victory that pushed him up, but it didn't. So for me, looking at it right now, at this point in Shakur's career and the way that his hands is, I don't think he could go to 140. And I don't think he could get another big fight if he don't look good against Zepeda, or if it ends up being boring, or if he even end up losing or getting a draw. They might not have another big fight for Shakur if he can't do something to say, hey, I'm a guy that people want to watch. So
But
that's one of the things.
everybody's ducking him though, Phoenix.
Are they ducking him? Because that's one of the things I said. Like I said it multiple times. Like
I gotta
I
take a
don't
phone
think
call. I'll
people.
be right back.
Okay, you
Okay.
good. I don't think people is ducking Shakur. I think it's a situation where they say like, well, I could make more money fighting this person and being an exciting fight versus if I fight Shakur and end up being a snoozer, even though it might not be my fault, I'm still going to be labeled as a fighter that was in a boring fight, and then that's going to make it harder for me to be marketed in the future. That's probably their line of thinking, and that's probably the promoter's line of thinking when they're thinking about, okay, do we want to put this guy in with Shakur? You know,
Okay. Hey,
that's just that's just the way I look at it.
real quick before I respond to that. Let me say thank you to the super chats first, to the cash apps. Thank you guys for the cash apps. Let me refresh it, just make sure I don't miss anybody. A Kilo Netter, big time in the building, bro. Thank you so much, man. With the big $10 holler in the cash app. He said, for great shows. Thank you, sir. And Ralph Chestnut with a big $5 holler says, channel support. Salute, my guy. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so much. This is my take on it. No, he does not need this fight. But if he wins this fight and he performs very, very well, I think it's a very, very good thing for him. But no, I think that there's going to be other opportunities as long as he wins to, maintain himself as one of the best fighters in the division. And as long as he continues to win and he's fighting guys like William Zepeda, because I don't know how big a fight, how really good William Zepeda really is. And I have a suspicion that certain haters are going to hate on that fight no matter what happens in that fight. So I hope he looks very, very good because, I'm a Shakur fan. So I hope Shakur looks very, very good. No, I don't think he needs it like for his career. Like, oh, if you don't have this, then there's no chance of you ever doing what you want to do. I don't believe that. But I do think that if he beats William Zepeda and he beats William Zepeda convincingly, he may be able to, staunch some of the hatred.
I agree with you on that, though. I said it on Twitter the other day.
What's that?
Oh, that if Shakur can go ahead and beat Zepeda and look good doing it, that could be a way for him to turn things around and use that as his way of building himself up.
It'll stop some, but it won't stop all of it because Tank fans hate on Shakur. And as a card carrying member of the Tank fan club, Tank fans be hating on Shakur like there ain't no tomorrow. So I have to, I'm out here fighting y'all every day, at least a little bit, but because I honestly don't be listening to all that stuff everybody says, because I know, we'll see 9 times out of 10 it doesn't wind up happening no matter what the person says. 9 times out of 10 Terrence Crawford calls somebody out, the fight don't happen. 9 times out of 10 Errol Spence calls out a fighter, the fight don't happen. It's not one guy or the other. That I just think it's it's kind of the nature of the beast that we are paying so much attention to what everybody says, and we get our expectations high that it's always a letdown. So, but again, that's why I said I think I'm going to kind of starting to lean more towards what Knockout Boxing 86 TV said, or at least what people represented his point to be to me, which is that if it may be reasonable for you not to take a fight at a certain time against a certain person. But if that's the case, then just say the reasons why you can't take the fight and keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Here's 2 cents.
I agree with that. I like that because it's like, hey, if it's going to be like that, then don't mention them at all and stop saying that the person's ducking you if you already know you got your reasons for why the fight ain't going to happen. Ain't no reason to be like engaged in all of that and then tearing the fighter down when you already know your plans are different. And that's the thing, because there's very few fighters where you call people out and you end up seeing like, okay, that actually happens. Like what Errol Spence did. He said he wanted to collect all the belts. Then he was going to go with Terrence Crawford, and he did that, right? Or like Ryan Garcia, all the fights that he done said he wanted, especially like with Tank, and then look what he did to make that happen, even cutting Oscar out of negotiations. So there's certain people where you're going to see them say something and they're going to do their best to follow through on it. Even with David Benavidez's situation right now, he's still trying to fight the best people he can get, even though the ones he want ain't fighting them. So, he's showing it. But then there's other fighters who don't. And they're like the ones who don't, because like you can't really expect anything from someone other than what they tell you. Like what they tell you is basically what sets your expectation for them, because it's coming straight from them. So if they give you that expectation and then they fall through on it and it doesn't come out, then that's on them, because they set that by opening their mouth. So, that's why I agree with KO.
2 cents.
What y'all talking about? I was on a phone call.
Oh, we're just still talking about the same thing. You said, does Shakur need William Zepeda?
Oh, yeah. It's because it's just a weird scenario to me where it's been a lot of projecting on Tank about how he don't fight nobody and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, look at his contemporaries. If Tank's not fighting nobody, then who are his contemporaries fighting? Like, I don't understand it. And it seems that it doesn't matter who Shakur Stevenson fight, because everybody wants to see him fight Tank. But I don't think a lot of people are realizing that. Just to give my 2 cents, y'all let me know. I don't think that fight has the same vigor or the same demand that people really think it has. I don't think it has a huge demand for that fight like that. Of course, we on YouTube in the YouTube boxing community space, we talk about it and we want it, but it doesn't seem like Shakur is positioning himself to get the fight. And when I say get the fight, I'm meaning to get what he's gonna want and what he's gonna want to ask for out of that fight. He's not putting himself in a position to do that. I don't know if maybe the Zepeda fight will get him there, but he does run the risk, in my opinion, of injuring his hands in that fight. And you got somebody that throw a million punches in a fight, coming forward, pressure. He's not a bad fighter. He can cut the ring off, which is what De Los Santos couldn't do. If you hurt your hands in that fight, what you gonna do?
Yep. I agree with you too, Sid. 'Cause, like the thing about this is, like you said, you don't really think it's a high demand outside of what people is talking about on YouTube. And that's one thing I've said, where a fight that's big on paper doesn't translate to big in the bank. That's not
No, it
always the
doesn't.
case. It's very few times where that's the case. And that's one thing that a lot of boxing fans don't get. Like, just because we hardcore fans, well, I mean, some of them, I put that in quotes, hardcore, because some of them don't really be paying attention. But like, for the people who's actually watching boxing more than the average person, they know that top two, maybe top three at 135 is Tank, Shakur, and Lomachenko. And a fight with any of them against each other on paper is big because of where they ranked at. At the same time, that's not always going to be something that is going to go ahead and do record-breaking numbers, and that's the thing that people ain't getting. So, it might be a case where, at least for me, I feel like if Shakur does good against Zepeda and the fight's exciting, or he does it in spectacular fashion, like, that's something that could help boost that up and be like, okay, this is something that people might want to watch more now, because Shakur showed that he can handle a guy that's tough and is going to be coming at him, that can cut the ring off and has high activity. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But like, to get to the point where he's going to get close to getting whatever demands he has because of his ego, because now, he's not chasing greatness no more. He's chasing the bag. And that's gonna be a thing where it could end up killing the fight if he feels like he's not getting a fair shake and he's not able to convince Tank to budge like Bud convinced Arrow to budge on it. Then who knows what happens then. It's up in the air.
Oh, Fanon, I know what I wanted to ask you. It was 2 questions. My first question is, do you know how, like, they say, oh, well, Terrence called and got on the phone with Earl, but then, the guy came out and said that he was a fixer for Top Rank, and he mentioned the Earl Terrence fight, he mentioned the Fury Wilder fight, and he mentioned the AJ Ruiz fight. My question is, when they say, oh, I got Earl on the phone, is it the fixer that Earl was talking to?
No, I'm pretty sure that it was Terrence Crawford talking directly to Arrow, because they said that they were speaking to each other. When they say that they have a fixer, they're talking about somebody pretty much that is just going to make problems go away. So basically what I got out of it was that this is a guy that if they need to force somebody to do something, he sounds more like a muscle guy to me. So no, I think he's somebody that you call, that you can send to somebody and say, hey man, let's really try to work this problem out, because he has some authority outside of the sport of boxing. That's what it sounded like to me. So no, I don't think Terrence Crawford talked to him directly. I don't think so. But that guy could have been involved, but actually Terrence Crawford.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why did they need a fixer for those fights? It's like Al advised them not to take those fights, and then here comes this thing coming out, a lawsuit about you being a fixer. I'm like, what is that? What does that mean? And why was it those particular fights?
The lawsuit was between that guy and Top Rank, right?
Yes.
And so he was saying Top Rank, and I think he said Top Rank owed him some money related to things that he did. So I doubt that was the Errol Spence fight, or maybe he was doing some things to try to get the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight while they were with Top Rank. But it wouldn't seem to me that would be connected because Terrence wasn't with Top Rank at the time.
Well, the fights, I think that's what was mentioned in the article.
I can go back and read it again, but if it did the lawsuit, though, I think he just showed examples of things that he'd worked on before and examples of where he used his influence. But honestly, man, it sounds like a thug to me. Just honestly.
It seems a little strange. It just seems a little strange because I just wanted a little clarity on what a fixer does and how would he know about Kinahan. Like, it's all weird to me. But
a fixer is very easy. A fixer is a mob figure.
So how is he suing though? If it's, you get what I'm saying?
He's gonna sue if you don't pay for his services. And not that his services aren't all illegal. And he's also putting Bob Arum and those guys. He's also putting Bob Arum and those guys on blast. And because basically the information that he released was that Bob Arum was not running Top Rank, that Todd DeBuff was involved with Daniel Kinahan, and basically just trying to put a lot of shit out on Top Rank. It looked like to me, really, because most of the damage from that lawsuit comes with the information being released, and since he sued him, the information was released. So this fixer to me sounds like just like a low-level mafia or mid-level mafia goon who can, like, when he walks in a room, you have to be intimidated by him. I say there's a lot of that stuff that goes on in sports, and a lot of that stuff goes on especially in things where you involve kind of underworld characters. Right. I think that's what he's saying. I'm thinking that's what he says he is.
Okay. I hear you. Because I just like if you on some mob shit, like how you suing? But maybe he got some type of legal entity he do it through or something like that. My next question was the Ring Magazine ambassadors. I'm curious exactly what that means. And people were saying, oh, it's ambassador for Ring Magazine. They trying to sell magazines. And I'm like, why are you trying to sell magazines in 2025? One, and do you think that them signing with this ambassador program could lead to some type of Trojan horse where they get caught up in something that they weren't aware of?
I have to read their contract, but yeah, there's always a possibility of that. Yeah. Like I know some people that basically had signed deals to be network, to do like network commentary, and their contracts had gag orders on them. So if you're a Ring Magazine ambassador, more than likely you're going to have a gag order on you to say anything that will be against what Turki Al-Sheikh says. So what? Absolutely. Yeah, if you're
Is that legal?
Absolutely. Think about it. If you're an ambassador for Ring Magazine and I'm writing your deal and I say I'm going to pay you $300,000 a year to be an ambassador for Ring Magazine, which means everywhere you go and everywhere you talk, you're representing Ring Magazine. So as a in consideration for that money, you're also going to have to make sure you don't say things that disparage Ring Magazine, the owner of Ring Magazine, writers associated with Ring Magazine, and business associates and things associated with Ring Magazine, which means if Ring Magazine has YouTube channels that are really owned by Ring Magazine and you criticize one of those channels, then yeah, absolutely, they can hit you with a non-disparagement and they can come back and collect their money depending on how they write their agreement. That's what I would do if you're an ambassador for Fanon and I'm paying you $200,000-$500,000 a year and to put it on your shirt, to put Fanon International Boxing on your shirt, you can't go around criticizing me. That's a fair exchange for that money. So yeah, I bet you that the biggest thing that they have on them, and one that makes absolute sense, is a non-disparagement agreement and a confidentiality and a non-disclosure agreement for any discussions that they have. You know what I mean?
What do you think about? That's okay. I see what you're saying. What do you think about Shakur Stevenson apologizing to Turki Al-Sheikh? I mean, I knew that was going to end up happening eventually. What are your opinions about that?
I mean, it just kind of depends on what happened. Like there's scenarios, because I didn't talk to Shakur Stevenson about the money, but say he was going to get $2 million and they gave him a fight for $1 million and he was like, hold on, no, you told me $2 million. and it wound up because he put it in the media that it wound up going to 2, and then he comes back and says, "Hey man, I apologize for my part in the confusion." He could say, "Yeah, I'm sorry for snapping. I wish we should have talked, but thank you for giving me my money." It just depends on whether or not he got his money or not. If it was just a little bit of money, it probably wasn't worth it. But it just all depends on how the money worked for him and what he thinks his relationship would be with Turki Al-Sheikh moving forward. Is Turki Al-Sheikh going to hold it against him and not put him in other fights? You know what I mean? I just think that move, 9 times out of 10, I would say that's a bad move. 9 times out of 10, I would say that's a bad move. So I just don't know if it's the 10th. So I would say at face value, it looks to me like he tried to put some political pressure. He got pissed off because of the money and snapped, right? But at the same time, if he was really willing to leave and said, "Hey, man, screw Turki, I'm going to move off," he may have bluffed Turki into giving him more money, because at the one thing he said yesterday, he said after the fight was signed, he said checkmate. So obviously he's playing chess, and in chess you make several moves to get to
Who
checkmate.
said checkmate? Shakur?
Shakur. He said checkmate. He said checkmate when it was announced that the deal was done. So when he said checkmate, I got communicated to me that he thought he made several moves that resulted in getting William Zepeda in the ring. That's how I interpreted it though.
Oh, okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Real quick before you reply, Barbara D said to check the Cash App, so I must do that. Barbara D with the $10 holler said, "Thanks for always keeping us informed." Thank you so much, Barbara. Yeah, does that answer your? Thank you, Barbara D. Thank you so much for your support. Does that answer the question? Because I'm not trying to give a solid answer because I don't know, so I'm just trying to think through the problem.
I just want to pick your brain about it and see.
Yeah, and the short of it is 9 times. If he does it again, it's gonna fuck him up. You know what I mean? Like I said that, like I told people again, like one of the things that I did, because the statute of limitations is up. I was up on some campaign finance violations, and I never did anything else until that statute of limitations was up. If I had done it, if I had done it twice, I'd probably be in jail. But I did it once, so they watch me, and then I never do it again until the statute of limitations is up. So he did it one time, and he got something out of it. But if he goes back to that and he makes that a standard thing that he does, people are going to adjust to that, and then it's going to be a negative thing for him. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the boy that cried wolf. You can cry wolf once. You can't cry wolf 3 times, because people are not going to come to rescue you if there are real wolves there, because you know what I mean? Because you pump fake them too much.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I just want to come up here and chit chat with you for a second. About to head back to work.
All right, hey, and thank you for that conversation yesterday. I really appreciated that conversation about Clarissa Shields and Alyssa Bumgarner yesterday. I really appreciated that conversation.
Okay, cool. No problem. Anytime.
All right, sister.
All right.
All right, Phoenix, what's up?
I think I touched on that Shakur apologizing to Turki thing, because like that is one of the things where it's like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of reasons that could be why he did that. Like for me, looking at the lead up to that, because he came out and said it, and I guess Turki was on interview saying that he don't think Shakur is that interesting, and that's why the price came down. And then there's also something Eddie had mentioned about
hold on. Turki said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, let me tell you, that's why you don't fuck with Turki. That's why you don't fuck with Turki. Right there.
Yep.
Right there. I would never fuck with Turki because of that. We agreed to something, man. You have to back your part of the deal, period. You don't get to judge whether you thought I was good or bad. I won the fight, man. Please, give me my money that you promised me, or I'm going to move on and I'm going to sue you. That's simple. Trust me, and I can sue you in international court. I'll check with T. Orlando, but I'm pretty sure I can sue you in international court. I don't even have to sue you in Saudi Arabia or in the United States. I think I can sue you in international court. But, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But absolutely, if Turki said the reason the price came down was because he is not exciting, then every fighter that fights with Turki Al-Sheikh has to wonder, where are you going to do this deal with me if you don't like my fight? Like if I don't lose the fight? What if I win a fight that Turki wanted me to lose? and I'm under contract, and he's going to reduce my price because the outcome of the fight wasn't like he wanted it to be. That's totally arbitrary, man. Totally arbitrary. And you don't want to deal with people that are arbitrary like that. That's why you have contracts, so people won't be arbitrary. You come with an agreement. We follow the agreement. If you have a price on a fight that you agree to, you got to pay that price, Turkey. Period. Otherwise, your word ain't worth shit. And honestly, his word ain't worth shit, because several fighters said they didn't get paid on one card, and now you got another guy saying, "Hey, man, you're offering me a lower price than we agreed to because you didn't like my fight." No, I'll go fight with somebody else. I mean, hey, man,
Well, speaking
that's
of
just
that,
on Turkey's part.
speaking of fighters not getting paid, you seen what I sent you, that Chris Eubank Jr. tweet that he put out?
Nah, what was that?
Yeah, he was talking about there was like I forget what fight it was for, but there was him and a bunch of other fighters who've been in training camp. Card got canceled, and he's saying like, yeah, people wasn't even paid like for all they went through with traveling and camps and everything, and that just ended up following through. And he posted like the fighters' purses like on his Twitter and stuff, or like the money they had got from it. So yeah, I think he still got the tweet up there, But apart from that, like what you were saying about Turkey, that's the other part that's confusing though, because it's like, okay, if Turkey's talking about one amount before, like, does Shakur have a contract with Turkey, or is it one of them things where, like Eddie Hearn was saying, they'll pay more for the fight if it's in Saudi Arabia, but if it's in the U.S., then no, one of them things. And then like wondering, okay, what did Shakur have in writing, when he signed with Eddie, and what were the terms going to be for the Zepeda fight? Like, they already got something in place for it, or after the fact, did Turkey come in and say, okay, I'd be willing to put up this much, and then all of a sudden that changed? Like, I don't
it
like
don't
that's
matter,
the whole
bro.
thing is
It
confusing.
doesn't have in the contract that there is a rate for a Saudi Arabian fight and a rate for a non-Saudi Arabian fight. If you do not have those in that contract, then what you're doing is you're being arbitrary, and you're trying to put your problem on me. You promised me $2 million a fight. I want to fight in the United States. You tell me that you will take the fight in the United States, but it has to be for $1 million less. No. If you don't want the fight, then you don't want the fight, but you still have to give me a fight. So give me my $2 million fight that you promised. If it's not William Zepeda, it's got to be somebody else. But it's not going to be but it has to be one in the United States, because I don't want to fight in the United States. I don't want to fight in Saudi Arabia. And if you don't have that if Turki Al-Sheikh didn't have that in his agreement, then Turki Al-Sheikh owes him the fights, and he owes him the fights that Shakur is willing to accept for that money. And if that's something if that is a gap in Turki Al-Sheikh's agreement, that's on Turki Al-Sheikh. If Turki Al-Sheikh wants to modify the agreement, you're going to have to put some additional consideration, that is money, out there for me to change it. If you want me to say, okay, let's adjust the contract to where there's a rate for the U.S. and then there's a rate for Saudi, no worries, I can do that. But you're going to take a Saudi fight to 2.5, and you're going to do a U.S. fight at 1.5. No worries. Okay, a U.S. fight, I'll take 1.5. Or I'll take 1.5 for a U.S. fight, but you got to pay me 2.5 if I go to Saudi. And if Turkey agrees to that, and Shakur team agree to that, then you guys have a modification to your agreement and everything's good. That's not arbitrary, because you're saying, hey, man, there's something I didn't foresee in the contract. Look, I really can't afford to pay it unless you're here. So a fair thing is, okay, well, that is what you agreed to. So if you want something additional, which is me going to Saudi, then pay for that additional, pay for it, because I'm making an additional promise to you. So you got to make an additional promise to me. That's how that works. Unless you're somebody that's used to muscling people and just deciding at your arbitrary will what you're going to do because you got them signed, but you've got the money. That's why the Ali Act is there, to separate promoters and managers and networks. And you're going to run into that problem when you got a one person being the network, the promoter, and the manager. You're going to run into that problem, bro.
Yeah, and here I'll have to go back and watch the interview again, because hearing Eddie Hearn talking about it, it almost sounded like it was already a thing. And so, like, whenever Shakur had apologized and was saying, like, you know, it was like, I guess, a miscommunication thing or whatever on his part, the team or whatever. Like maybe that's what it was, that they didn't fully understand that. I don't know. But like the way Eddie was talking about it, it kind of sounded like there's one price for Saudi and one price for outside of Saudi. And it sounded like that was something that was like already a thing. But I could be
But if
wrong though,
you
but
take, if
that's the
you
way
take
it
all
sounded like.
three, but just put all three together. Turkey Al-Sheikh did not want the fight because it's exciting, right? Not exciting. He didn't want to pay as much because it's not as exciting. But Shakur has a contract. Eddie Hearn says it's because he wanted it in Saudi Arabia and he has to pay something else if it's in the United States, right? Doesn't matter. The quintessential, the thing is, are you paying Shakur the money for the fight? And are you abiding by the terms of the contract? If there's not two different rates in there, I don't care what Eddie Hearn says. If it's not a rate for Saudi Arabia and a rate for a non-Saudi Arabian fight, you have to put that there. Because if you just say 4 fights, then you have to pay me $2 million for the fight I choose. That's how it works. And that's a contract. That's how contracts work for everybody. Does not matter if you're building a house. If somebody's building a house and you agree to pay, I'm going to pay a builder a flat fee of $500,000 to build me a house. And then I just out of willy-nilly say, hey, I want a whole new design to this house. I don't like how it looks once I see it. Then guess what? You got to pay them. They have to pay them for the changes that they're making. If they build a room and you look at it and like, no, I want something additional to it, you have to sign a new agreement, and it's going to be $500,000 plus the additional cost, labor, and profit for their work. And it doesn't matter if it's boxing. It doesn't matter if you're building stuffed animals. You have an agreement and you got to live by the word of your agreement. And if you can't for some reason, you have to negotiate a modification to that agreement. All I hear is people trying to do, and I don't have a problem with it, but people doing cleanup in public and saying, yeah, we all get along now. It was just a big misunderstanding. But that's what husband and wife say after they throw hands in the middle of the living room and the neighbors call the police. And they walk outside and they say, hey, what's happening? Oh, nothing. It was just a misunderstanding. We were just yelling at each other. No physical violence, no nothing. What are they supposed to say when the police come? They're going to say nothing happened if they don't want one or the other to get arrested. So they clean their act up, even though they were throwing blows 5 minutes before. So, at a certain point in time, we have to apply logic to the facts that we have and then come to a logical conclusion and not be dissuaded or misled by ad hoc statements made by one party or another that are basically intended to draw for you to assist you in making a conclusion that they want you to have, which is everything's good. Turkey Al-Sheikh's a great guy. There is no problem between Shakur and Turkey Al-Sheikh. Everything is water under the bridge, right? Why? Because they went through an internal battle and it worked itself out. But that doesn't mean that we can't look and say, hold on, man, Turkey, what would you say that for? Why would you say that I don't want to pay as much because it's not exciting, but yet Eddie Hearn saying, well, he can't pay it because it's not in Saudi? Either way, it doesn't matter. He's saying he couldn't pay the money. He couldn't pay it because he was boring, or he couldn't pay it because it was in Saudi. Doesn't matter. If it's not in his contract and you have a certain amount for a fight, that's how much you have to pay him. And you have a certain amount of fights you have to give him. You have to give him fights, and it doesn't matter which one it is. He gets paid for it. That's what you get when you try to steal fighters from people and you give them contracts that are lucrative with gigantic loopholes in them that their lawyers put in there because they're willing to sign. You're willing to sign whatever they want just so somebody else won't get them. Then you get stuck paying more money than you thought. You can't be somebody blindly throwing money around all over the fucking place. And then when it's time you got these contracts and obligations in place, all of a sudden now you want to start just refusing to perform under the contract? No, you got to perform under the contract. I mean,
definitely with that. And that's the only, I was saying like the one thing that I thought of with all that was what ended up happening with the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia thing, because of how Bill and them ended up doing the whole net profit.
Yeah, I mean, because he doesn't know.
Hey,
Uncle Dre's finally said, sorry, I really don't believe Shakur is that intelligent to me by his decisions. I think he is. I ain't gonna lie to you, Uncle Dre's finest. Uncle Dre's finest. I've spoken to Shakur Stevenson. He's a very bright young man, very astute young man. Seriously, I know dumbasses when I speak to dumbasses, and I can tell you some dumbasses. Shakur Stevenson strikes me to be a very intelligent and very savvy person for his age. Like, and maybe because of the people around him and the people he's listening to or whatever. But no, man, he made some very, very smart moves just by himself. And yeah, I do think that he clearly did that, and it wind up being a situation where he got his money. At least I believe he got his money.
Yeah. That's one thing that we'll never know for sure because we ain't on the back end to go ahead and see what else happening.
Just don't know.
Yeah, whatever the case, I'm glad that they got that fight worked out. July 12th, Zepeda and Shakur. I think that's going to be a good fight. Interesting. I don't know.
How much money you want to bet me? I bet it goes the distance. You want to take the bet?
I mean, what else would it do? I mean, the only way it end by stoppage is if Shakur hurt his hands bad enough in the fight, or somebody gets cut and they end up having to stop it. I don't see neither one of them getting dropped because Zepeda, he doesn't really got like that one shot knockout power. Like his comes from like the accumulation of punches, and Shakur, he gonna have to catch him with something he don't see, like how Tevin Farmer did and dropped Zepeda because Tevin Farmer. For his 30-something fights, he only got 8 knockouts. So that's one of the things where it's like, yeah, Shakur gonna have to catch him with something he don't see coming. But I don't know because the way that Tevin set that up, like he was right there in front of him, slipped, and then threw that left. Versus Shakur, where his tendency is normally to just get out of range completely. So that's the thing for me where I do not know if he's gonna switch up and then stay there to counter in close quarters. Because if you're doing that, then yeah, you could say he pulling a little bit of the Floyd Mayweather out because that's something that Floyd did. But I don't see that being something that Shakur is going to do. But who knows? Who knows how the fight going to play out? Because every fighter don't fight the same going into each fight. So who knows how it's going to play out? But I will say that I do hope that they got a decent undercard. Otherwise, they ain't going to be able to charge nothing for pay-per-view. Like, wouldn't that be a shame for that to not be on pay-per-view?
Man, it would be make my day if it wasn't on pay-per-view. But everything's pay-per-view now, though. So I definitely get your point.
Yeah, because shoot, look at the Zone trying to go ahead and do a pay-per-view bundle now.
I'm not buying both of those. I'm buying one. I'm not buying one of them. Please don't do that. Buy one, get one free shit. Like, I don't want Canelo. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that Canelo skull. I don't want to pay for that Canelo skull fight.
But if you buy both of them, that's a $30 discount.
No, if I buy them, then it is $30 I'm throwing away because I don't want it. Seriously, man, they do that shit to me at stores all the time. They'll say, like at 7-Eleven. The big meetings at 7-Eleven. I be having meetings at 7-Eleven when I want to buy bananas, and I'll buy a banana, and they'll say the second was only 20 cents. And I'll say, okay, well, I don't want it because I only want to eat one. And I'll take my money and keep my 20 cents. You know what I mean? It's like it in a certain way, yeah, if you're going to get two, then yeah. But you're using it as a means by me who only wants one to get two. I only want one. How about you price? I'll buy it if you give me one. I may buy the other one if you give me this one for 25 and then you give me the second one for 35, then I might do that. But I'm definitely not going to do I got to pay $60 or $80 or $70 for the only one that I really want to see. But then I got to pay. Basically, you're trying to make me pay. I don't know who you're charging the $70 for. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I also want to know how in the world can they distribute this pay-per-view? Like, how do you pay people off the revenue from these pay-per-views is my question when you bundle them. You know what I mean?
If they bundle it, they're probably just going to split it down the middle. And then
if they bundle it and they split it down the middle, then Canelo's getting paid for Devin Haney's fight and Ryan Garcia's fights. So, I mean, on the real, I don't even know how you work that from a financial aspect if you're a fighter. Like, how the number of pay-per-views is sold, but you have the pay-per-view cost allocated across 2 fights. So please explain. If I'm a fighter, I want to know, how am I going to be able to capture my pay-per-view revenue? How do I know whether they bought it for me or they bought it for Canelo? And how do I know how much, and how much is Canelo getting? Because I suppose that they're going to use money from both pay-per-views to pay Canelo. Like,
the way that I see it playing out is like, since they got both of them separate, $60 a piece, and then they got the one that's $80 or $90 if you want both of them. The only way I can see it happening is, of course, they keep the 2 separate individual purchases. You know, the 60 and 60. They have that, like, okay, this many people bought Canelo's fight individually. This many people bought the Ryan and Rolly card individually, and then that's the revenue for both of them. And then take the one where people bought the bundle and just split that one down the middle. That's the only way I could see it somewhat making sense. But even then, it's a little, you know.
I mean, if somebody's getting paid off the pay-per-views, if you're not getting paid off the pay-per-views, who cares? But if you are getting paid off the pay-per-view, then you have 3 different models that you have to keep track of when you ask DAZN to prove how many pay-per-views were sold. You have to know how many you sold. Then you have to know how many bought the bundle, and you have to get a percentage of the bundle. So pretty much a lower percentage of the bundle, then that is pretty much asking people to pay you less money than you would get if they were billed separately. So, I mean, I don't know, man. That's a very complex model that I would have to find an MBA to explain to me how you're going to do it. Not that it can't be done, but I just want to know how it can be done. Because when I'm getting paid, if I'm getting any pay-per-views, you're going to give me a number. You're going to cut me a check. But where did that number come from? You know, how much of it came from the bundle? How much of it came from the individuals that purchased it only for me? And how many are? And then obviously Canelo's got to ask the same question.
Yeah.
When you track the money that you make off the pay-per-view. Now they may turn around and say, well, we know we're going to lose on the pay-per-view. Yeah, well, prove it to me that you lost on the pay-per-view. I still need to see the numbers for you to prove that you lost on the pay-per-view. I'm not just going to walk in the door assuming you lost money on the pay-per-view. You got to tell me. You got to show it to me. If you're really being careful with your money. But again, most people aren't very, like me, I'm not very careful with my money. My wife, on the other hand, trust me, she's going to dig into a spreadsheet and figure out exactly how that shit got divided. And if there's any numbers off, then you got a problem. It's just administratively, I don't know how they would do it. So, you know
what I think is going to happen? I think it's going to end up being another situation where they change it up, in the last week, like they did with that one card. And they're going to be like, yeah, never mind, no bundle.
Yeah, something like that. Or Canelo is getting all the pay-per-views for both, which is most likely. Is Canelo's, they give guarantees to those guys. Ryan is probably getting a cut of the pay-per-view, and Canelo's probably getting a cut of the pay-per-view, if I had to guess. Because you don't have to give Devin it. You don't give Devin a cut. You don't give Tio a cut. The only person that is proven in any way really on pay-per-view is Ryan and Canelo. So you give Ryan a cut of both of the pay-per-views, and you give Canelo a cut of both of the pay-per-views. But you give Canelo a higher cut of both pay-per-views than you give Ryan.
Well, then there's another thing I just thought of, because the Ryan and Rolly card is a private event with no live gate. So I mean, if they're gonna be
no live gate, so that has to be guaranteed because there's no gate. There's no gate, so they have to guarantee the gate because there is no gate.
Tricky situation.
There's not really going to be any gate for Canelo either. There's no gate for that, really. 8,000 people in Saudi Arabia, they're probably going to give those away.
Oh, shoot. And that's the capacity. So that's not even counting the seats. The capacity for the whole arena is 8,000. So that's going to include like the workers and all that. So who knows what the seating is?
Yeah. I mean, you got to have somebody really digging in the books when you get paid in something complicated like that. So it's either, you just give me a flat fee for the fight and I don't want to be bothered. Or you got to give me whatever your calculation is and how you're going to divide up that bundle. How really the only money is the division of the money for the people that purchase in a bundle, and whether that's going to have a negative impact on Ryan that is going to benefit Canelo. it's just a funny situation to tie all those guys like that together in a fight with that many people on a card, you know?
Yep. Last thing before I go, today is Good Friday, and in 3 days, in addition to the resurrection, we can also celebrate the crucifixion of Devi Shice. So, I think on Sunday we should have, a Devin crucifixion celebration. Like play all the videos of him getting whooped by Tank and Spawn, play all the memes of Ryan Garcia making him doodle on himself and all that. And we can go ahead and pay our tribute. Like that'll be our alms to the Lord and failure of the Devon coat, Devi Shice, and all
Yes,
the
sir.
lies and everything he done told. We can even quote something from their book of lies, like when one lie fails, lie in abundance because you'll overwhelm them with it. Why lie alone when you can lie with friends? Something like
Exactly.
that. And then just
You know
go
what,
ahead and
You know what I'm glad about, though? For a while,
what's that?
ever since Devin Haney got his ass whooped, I have not had to dig into the WBA, WBC, IBF, or WBO rules to correct these people lying about the rules. Like, that's the one thing I'm very happy about, because I dang near memorized the WBC rule book because these people would lie so much about what the rules of boxing are, what the rules of the sanctioning bodies are, what a mandatory is, when a mandatory is made, what a super champion is, what a franchise champion is. You don't have to correct all their lies. And you can have straight, even with like Shakur. I don't have to, I know y'all hate on Shakur heavy, but I mean, y'all have some reason for what you're saying. I'm not saying it's unfounded. I'm just saying that you guys are not unrealistic when you complain about Shakur. You're not making shit up out of whole cloth. You know what I mean? They made up shit out of whole cloth for him. But hey, man, I'm about to bounce, bro.
But yeah, for sure, man. You take it
Thank
easy.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, bro. You as well, man. Get back. I'll be back. I'll probably do a live tomorrow if you're around.
All right.
Peace.
For sure.
All right, bet. All right, y'all. I'm gonna bounce up out of here, man. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I just said franchise. All right, y'all. Though I'm gonna bounce up out of here, man. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody in the super chat, and thank you to everybody in the Cash App. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.